I think sometimes people are looking into it too much about why we're remaking it and why we wanted to reimagine it. Really, we just wanted to make a show that captures the essence, that love between a mother and a son who are both trying to look after each other.
So, Matt, Mother and Son first aired on ABC TV like almost 40 years ago. So, can you tell me about the decision why this show and why did you want to reinvent it?
Basically, quite selfishly, I just wanted a vehicle for which myself and Denise Scott could share a screen with. I had been touring with Denise in Hong Kong, and it's actually funny because, you know, I felt like I connected with Denise. I really liked working with her. I thought she was a great person, that she was a very great performer. And I reckon that she had no thoughts about me whatsoever at all. I reckon in hindsight, she would have just seen me as another young comic. So it's probably weird for her that 10 years later I'd come knocking and be like, hey, here's this show I've wanted to make for the last 10 years. But really, that's actually all it is. Also, you know, I've got a connection to it in that it's one of the shows that I remember actually watching with my dad growing up. I remember being on the family TV, and there wasn't heaps of shows that, you know, we would both watch or that would be on the TV and that I would feel like we would watch together. He was a very big Gary McDonald fan, so it's nice to have that kind of connection to him as well. And yeah, just to sort of try to reconnect with all of the great elements of the original that so many people connected with 40 years ago.
What happened? Where's the fire? Are you okay?
She's broken, Arthur. Snapped like Kit Kat fingers.
Oh, what the hell, Mum?
Well, that was like the first thing that I wrote into the show was the moustache. But before anything else, I was like, should I do the mo? And then I thought, you know what? Yeah, why not? And here's the thing. Here's why I did the mo. One, it's a tribute to the original, little nod to the original, of course. But two, there are personal reasons. And we sat down with Jeffrey Atherton, the original creator, very early on when we were in pre-production. And he said, so are you going to have the mo? And he said, well, you know, the reason why Gary did the mo is because he didn't want people to think that he looked like Norman Gunston when he was playing Arthur. And I was like, that's exactly what I don't want people to think it's Matt Okine. So I was like, why don't I chuck them? Like, let's do the mo then. So it worked out sort of, you know, on multiple layers.
Were there any other little Easter eggs or nods to the original show that you've tried to slip in there?
I don't think you'll see a single orange in this whole series. And that's almost a nod in itself, because there's this famous scene where Maggie accidentally drops some oranges into the grave at a funeral. And that is like every single person knows that scene from the original series. And there was no way that we were going to touch anything like that. So anytime anyone saw an orange, I think even Neil was like, should we have a bowl of oranges in the background of this shot? And I was like, no oranges anywhere near ours.
Working. Whereby he is able to subdue all things to himself.
The original show was like an original sitcom in a studio. Was there ever entertaining that idea at all, doing that again, or you wanted to be
100%. First thing we asked. It was literally the very first thing we asked, should we be doing this in the studio in front of an audience? And I think part of the reason why we didn't is because that comparison of 1980s Australia to now is also shown in the style of TV show that we shot. So that doesn't happen anymore, the studio audience and stuff like that. So I didn't feel like it was really appropriate to maintain some example of 1980s Australia within something that we were trying to show of how different it is. So we actually just wanted to go with, no, you know what, this is how TV shows are shot now. Let's show this difference as well.
And the show is filmed in Southwest Sydney. Can you tell me about that decision? Why did you shoot it there?
We just wanted to film it in an area where we believe that realistically Arthur's dad, Leo, would have moved to in the 70s when he moved to Australia. I don't think in the 70s and 80s there would have been that big an African community in, say, Leichhardt, where they filmed the original series. And so we just wanted to capture that diversity, the cultural diversity, and the sort of melting pot that is Southwest Sydney.
I got a job, Arthur, as an in-house designer at the Ngunnawal Gallery.
Yeah, look, sorry, I'll be the first to admit I haven't committed all of the Indigenous nations to memory.
Canberra. Yeah.
Yeah, I can live and work in Canberra. I mean, I just need the internet. Does Canberra have the internet?
And did you have any challenges while you were making this series? What were some of the biggest ones you had to overcome?
I mean, there were some small issues. We decided to have Maggie's house right next to the airport. I don't know why we thought that was a good idea. I mean, the house was amazing. It was such a great spot. But then, yeah, it was also like when it hit that time of the day, you'd be like, oh, there's the 5:30 p.m. to, Sri Lanka. Just planes going over all day.
And if anyone's looking for me, I'll be in the kitchen practicing how to die alone.
Someone suggested that we were gilding the lily by remaking this show. And to be fair, I had to Google what gilding the lily meant. I don't think we're doing that at all. I think what we're doing is like using a few spores from the original lily, and we're growing our own lily, and two lilies will hopefully exist. And ultimately, I just want people to really like lilies. So it's not like I want my lily to be better than another lily or anything like that. It's just, I just want people to like Australian TV and feel like there's something in it for them.